Hi, I'm Mia,
And I'm Sydney.
and we're Stereo Jane.
And we're hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Let's talk a little bit about Holy Hell. This track, the moment I listened to it, it was just on replay. So talk to me about creating this track. And I know this track took some time to kind of figure out this new sound, this new style for Stereo Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah, we wrote it. I can't say exactly when we wrote it. It was probably about a year ago. But yeah, we walked into our night session. We were still with our record label at the time. We walked into our night session, sat down and played a few tracks with our producer and with our songwriter. And we heard one. It was just an instrumental, and we were like, "That's the one. We're gonna write to that one." Yeah. So that night we chose to write to that one. We started writing. The words started flowing.
Yeah, and it was kind of just it. I mean, right that that one only took probably like an hour to write, not even.
It took us about an hour to write it, and then recorded in the booth. But yeah, we didn't even realize what we were writing about until the next day when we heard it again. Because night sessions sometimes can be a little foggy. You're like, what time is it? What year is it? Yeah. But yeah, we ended up the next day listening to it again, and we were like, wait, we know what this is about now. We were like, wait. It was about like our relationship with our label and how frustrated we were and how we felt like we weren't being heard. And we're like, one day we're gonna give them Holy Hell. And yeah, that's basically what it was about. But when you hear it, you could relate it to a lot of things, which is great. And a lot of people are like, yeah, I can relate that to what's going on in my life and what's a relationship or something that's going on with work or there's so many different things you can relate it to, which is great because it's more universal. And yeah, I mean it's kind of
holy hell.
Yeah, it's holy hell. But yeah, we decided we wanted that to be the first one we released because that's just like kind of marks the point in time where we realized how fed up we were, and how we really realized we found ourselves, but our label didn't think that we were marketable yet. They didn't know what our potential was, and we were like, wait, but like we have the songs and we want to get this going, so we're like,
just get them out.
I feel like that's the hardest part too, because everybody, when you're a musician, that's what you want. You want more people to hear it. But in order to do that, you sometimes need that label. But then when the label steps in, it makes it even harder to kind of release music. That being said, like, what made you guys say, like, this is the new direction, though? Because the sound is a little different as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have always been this darker sounding music. I think with everything that has been released, it has been more pop or usually for TV commercial or something a little more commercial, like the stuff in movies. But
yeah, we over the years have had so many different phases, and we've started our band when we were so young. We were 8, 9 years old. We went through a Motown phase. We went through a hard rock phase. We did go through a pop phase for a little bit.
I mean, but a lot of it was like she was obsessed with Paramore growing up, so like
that was a phase. That was one of the phases.
Yeah, but our first
That starts something.
Yeah,
I'm still kind of in that phase. It's fine.
Still in that pop punk girl too,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but like, how different was it with this new kind of sound? Like, how different was the writing process, or how different was the recording process as well?
Because we started with Atlantic, we were there for 4 years. It was always something different every single time we went into a session, and it really helped us find out what we liked, how we liked to write, and what we liked to write.
And just also growing as writers.
Yeah.
Being able to go in and meet somebody new and come out with a song or two in a night. So
yeah. So the writing process definitely changed over the past 4 years. And we kind of, going into a session, know what we want, know what we like. We know how to kind of control the room more. Whereas, a couple years ago, maybe we didn't really know as much about how to get a session started and meeting new people and going into it with, an open mind. And yeah, we've definitely really improved with that. And every time we go into the room, we know what we want to do.
Now, were there any specific like songwriters that you guys collaborated with that kind of played a major impact in your music today?
Definitely, yeah. There are a few people that we've worked with that there are go-tos, like because it's just like dating. You kind of have to date in order to know what you like.
Like a speed dating process of writers and producers. Right. And we finally found a few that we love and absolutely just click with.
Yeah, every time we go into the room, it's like, all right, let's do this. We also are on a good basis where we know each other, and we've talked about everything together, and it's super open and free every time we're in the room, which is great.
Now, talk to me a little bit about the producers. Like, who are these producers, and what is it about them that you guys want to continue to work with them?
So Cliff did Holy Hell with us, and he's just an overall amazing producer. And yeah, every single track you hear is just amazing. It's just, he's great. And he's also super fun to work with because he's just such a great person. And writing Holy Hell is great, and we've written so many songs with him. None of them are released yet, but yeah, I mean, so he's great. And then Real World is the Gomez brothers, John and Steven Gomez.
Weren't they in a band before? They were, right?
Yes,
The main
they're-
was it
they're
the main?
Twin XL.
That's
Right
the
now.
one right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're touring and they're doing amazing, which is, I'm so happy for them. But yeah, they're really fun to work with, and every time we're with them, it's just like we write a great song.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're great.
That first time that you guys went in with the Gomez brothers, like, what did you guys notice, like, instantly, like, oh my gosh, like, this is why we're gonna work with them?
Well, they really understood what it's like being a part of a label and not really liking their fit or feeling that they weren't really being heard. So it was kind of just like, all right, let's write about it. Let's write about how you're feeling. And also with them being in a band and playing live, especially with like me playing the drums, that's like the most important part, is that somebody else understands that it has to come across live.
Yeah, every time I'm in the room with them, I always think about the fact that we're sisters, they're brothers, and I'm like, it works. It's like a great team. But that's like every single time I'm with them, I'm like, wait, I feel like this is why it clicks. I'm like, I don't know, there's something about it. Yeah.
So, talk to me about Real World, the new single. What was that creative process for this track? And like, I love the lyric video, how you guys kick it off. That was pretty smart. So, talk to me about the creative process with this track and like, why was this like such an important track for you guys?
I mean, this one, my God. So we had just come to the session. Our car had literally just broken down. And we were so fed up about just everything. It was like one of those weeks where just a train wreck week. Like everything goes wrong that could.
Right.
And so we kind of just ended up writing a song, Real World, which is, it's just about not wanting to grow up and kind of just remembering things were as like a kid. And there's just lyrics like riding bikes in the summer. And
Yeah, we our first year in LA was pretty rough because we didn't have a lot of friends. We didn't know how to make friends. We were, straight out of high school and just meeting all of these new people, these songwriters and producers who've been doing this forever. And this was one of the first sessions that we went to that we were like, we clicked and we felt it, and we were like, we wrote a really real song that we really believed in and we were super excited about. And the process was so fun to write because we were just like, oh, get us out of the real world for a second, just for a second. So we wrote that song about how we didn't want the real world, and yeah, we were in love with it since. Yeah.
So as you guys kind of evolve in your writing process, like, what do you guys feel has been the biggest evolution that you've had? Whether it's like lyrics, whether it's like the type of like the way that you guys deliver the songs, like what has been the biggest evolution?
I think honestly, like how fast we can come up with an idea, or even being able to say like, no, I don't like that. Let's change it to something else. Just because when we first moved out here at like freshly 18, we didn't want to say no to anything. And we always wanted to like make the producers happy, make our label happy. And so in the last 4 years, it's really been like, wait, no, these are our songs and we need to do what we do best, which is just write from the heart and, I mean, tell people what we want to say.
Yeah, we definitely learned how to make ourselves happy in sessions, but also the people around us, because when we're vibing on a song, the people we work with are vibing on the song too, because it's it's at the end of the day, it's about releasing a song that you're excited about and you're happy about, and not conforming to someone else's idea of what's good. But yeah, there's definitely been a lot of realizations, I feel like, since we really started clicking. One big thing for me is I've realized that I love writing melodies first and then fitting the words to my melodies to kind of make it, because as you're in the booth singing over a track and writing melodies, you listen back and you're like, wait, I said that word there. And you're like, wait, I want to use that word. What can we do? What does that sound like? What does it feel like I'm saying? And then we'll write a song around it. Yeah.
And like, as far as the drums go, like, what do you do differently this time around?
Oh, man. I mean, just from the process of drums, it's always been like, okay, they were a little bit more like 808 and kind of more pop driven. And now I'm kind of like, no, let's do something so weird. So let's just grab something in the studio and try to make something out of it.
Right.
So definitely like taking more risks and making it edgier.
As far as taking more risks, like, have you guys tried to recreate sounds in like different ways other than electronics, other than like the most common ways? Like, is there any unique way that you've created music or sounds for this upcoming material?
Yeah, I mean, we were just in a session that like we weren't quite getting the feel of, you know, like a drum trigger or pads and stuff. And so he had this like super beat up kit that I mean, it was not a good kit, but it was really fun to kind of like play like an out of tune kit and kind of just play so many different things over it.
Yeah.
Just to kind of make it super edgy.
We've actually used silverware before.
Yeah.
We used a silverware drawer, and we were like,
Yeah,
and we used that for drum sounds, which I actually do want to add to some of our other stuff that's going to come out, because there's still some stuff that we have lined up that's not fully produced yet. So we're definitely going to add that kind of stuff.
Like boxes
Yeah.
and anything.
Just crinkets, like just make something out of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's like I'll have a beat that I'm playing just on my like on my lap.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, let's get that, and then kind of add more weirder stuff on top of it.
Right. Now, before when you guys went to label, I'm sure when you would go into the studio, I'm sure there was a certain structure you had to meet in order to write songs, or like a certain way of creating music. And now that you guys are on your own, like I feel like you guys, like the limits are endless. How different is it now that structures aren't so important and you guys just create whatever you guys feel like creating?
Ooh, it's just much less stressful. Yeah, before it was really stressful, and we were always really nervous and wondering, oh, are they gonna like this? Like, what do we, like? It was just very confusing and frustrating sometimes. Now we go to the studio and it's all happy, all good, and just kind of like flows, which is so nice compared to what it was before, which is how we used to write when we were younger. And, you know, the whole process of being with the label was really frustrating because every single time we go into a session, that's how we would feel. And it wasn't fun feeling like that because we were in sessions. Yeah, we were in sessions all the time. And it's a job for sure, but it's a wonderful, amazing job that we love. And it was kind of getting in the way of us loving it. And for a while, we were really down on ourselves about it. And, you know, once we finally realized, wait, let's just write for us. That was the realization. It was like, oh, yes, okay, this is what we need to be doing.
Yeah. I mean, but it was a really good learning experience. That's the whole thing is like, I don't think either of us regret any of those 4 years because it's like we grew as writers and people.
Yeah,
and
we learned so much, so much. And it was all so helpful. And we've taken all of it with us. And that's really the best thing that came out of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you think about it, like if those situations didn't happen, Holy Hell wouldn't exist and Real World wouldn't exist. Like we're a completely different like ball game for you guys right now. So now that these two singles are out, what else can we expect? Are you guys working on a package? Like, are you guys working the singles game? Like, what's next for the band?
We do have a few singles set up, and then ultimately an album. And I'm so excited. I've always wanted to release an album, and it hasn't come yet, but. You know, finally, yeah, I know.
everything's there. That's just like
It's
when
there.
we want to release it. That's like the really awesome part is that it's all there.
Yeah,
So it's just kind of like we get to pick when we want to release stuff. So
that's awesome. Congratulations with that, and congratulations with the tracks that are out right now. If you guys haven't already, be sure to check out Stereo Jane. New single, Real World, is out now. Thanks for watching on Front Row Live.